I'm Sam from Tarot for Writing, and thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the Three of Cups. This is such a fun and beautiful and positive card. I couldn't wait to share my thoughts with you about it today. So this is part of a series I'm doing where I'm taking a closer look at every single tarot card in the deck. It was inspired by Esther over at Mindful Tarot. And the idea is to spend a little bit of time and some intention in studying each tarot card in the deck. So I'm going to give you a brief definition of the card, how I read it as a tarot reader. We're gonna zero in on a detail of the card, and then last but not least, I'll share some thoughts with you on how I use a card like the Three of Cups to inspire my fiction writing. I'm a paranormal romance author, and I use tarot every day to inspire my writing. So let's dive right in. As I said, this is a very beautiful, positive card, and for me, the Three of Cups represents celebration and friendship. It's also about good fortune because we see a lot of abundance in this card. And I also read it as community, coming together to help each other. Back in the day, it used to be with the harvest. Today, it is with all sorts of different projects and activities. And it's all about being supportive. And a detail that caught my attention today is the pumpkin in the lower right-hand corner. Maybe it's because at time of recording, we are just a little over a week away from Thanksgiving here in the United States. But pumpkins make me think of that first Thanksgiving when the early settlers were on the verge of starvation and they were being helped by Native Americans and were given, among other things, pumpkins. And that helped them get not only through the next few days, but through the entire winter. So with that in mind, this story that we all know so well, the pumpkin really reminds me of having strong allies, but also of nourishment, of health, and of survival. For me, it is a symbol of having plenty, of having enough to share. And I think it's beautiful that it was included in this Three of Cups, because I think that kind of idea around the first Thanksgiving, around pumpkins in general, as something that we can store that nourishes us, plays so well with the overall theme of celebration and friendship and sharing. Now let's talk a little bit about how I would use a card like this in my fiction writing. Of course, the first and obvious idea is that we have a story that in one way, shape, or another involves three friends. Or we could kind of play with that idea a little bit, and they could be three sisters instead. Maybe it is a series of 3 books. I mainly write romance novels. So a series of 3 books, each one focusing on one of the sisters, and of course everybody makes appearances in all the books. Another fun idea would be to have 3 generations. So seeing this as a mother, daughter, and grandmother, which is actually how I have seen it depicted in quite a few different decks, where it shows this whole idea of 3 generations being represented, or even the whole idea of the 3 main phases that we go through as women: maiden, mother, and crone. So I thought that would be a lot of fun to play with, either as I'm developing characters, as I'm developing a cast of characters for one of my books, or as I'm coming up with an idea for a whole new series of novels. Either way, I think this card really speaks to me of having a strong support system in place. And I think that is something that I could work into almost any of my novels. Then, of course, we have the obvious. We can go back to the idea of a celebration. And if I'm working on a particular chapter or an outline for a book, I might choose to include a celebration. This could be a birthday, could be just some sort of spontaneous party, it could be some sort of bigger event, a wedding and big anniversary. You know, any sort of celebration or party could be inspired by the Three of Cups. And of course, there could be dancing or simply, you know, raising a cup to celebrate all the good things in life and everything that's going on. Another fun idea would be to look at these characters, and I kind of get the sense of sisterhood and maybe of secret sisterhood. So what if I had three women who make a pact with each other to find their soulmates, to help each other find their happily ever after, that perfect match, Mr. Right, that kind of idea. Now, I write mostly paranormal romance with male-female couples, but of course you could take this idea in any direction you'd like, in any kind of stories you like to tell. And again, still playing on this idea of the three women, we could have a situation here where maybe our main character has roommates, or maybe she goes for a girls' night out or a girls' night in, and you know, maybe that's when she finally tells her friends about this great new guy that she's met, or this mysterious guy she's run into and doesn't know much about. You know, anything like that would be a lot of fun to add some interest and layer into an early chapter. And then it could also, with all the abundance of food in the card, be about a feast, or simply about making one of them making dinner for the other one, or lunch or breakfast, you know, making some sort of food. Sometimes I just zero in on a small little detail like the pumpkin, like the abundance of food that we see around them, and kind of use that to inspire some ideas. And then since we're talking about, or I've been talking about Thanksgiving, I thought it could be fun to use this card to write a scene where one of the main characters introduces the new love in their life to family and friends over a holiday meal, or, you know, just a Sunday dinner, that kind of thing. And then just looking at all the abundance around them, it makes me think of a community garden or a farmer's market, and maybe our couple spends a little time there getting to know each other better, connecting, falling deeper in love. And then of course, you know, we could also go with the more broader fall festival, having something like that, or just having a scene in the fall, walking through fallen leaves, or going out to take pictures of the beautiful, colorful fall leaves. And of course, I could also include Thanksgiving into the story somewhere, somehow, or going even broader, simply working with an overall theme of feeling grateful. So there's a lot of ideas here. I hope you found this discussion of the Three of Cups interesting and helpful. If you did, please give this post or this video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to have you. And I will be back with the rest of the Suit of Cups over the course of the next few videos. I'll see you then.